I didn't even have to remind you that your time is over. And we have a couple of minutes for 2 or 3 questions to any of our 3 speakers. Yeah, please. Floor is open. Please, sir. Yes, you. Israel Altman. To whom is it directed? Professor Nagar. Okay.
Why is the fact that the Iranian leadership is giving predominance to expediency, why is it a proof of secularization? Let us remember that Prophet Muhammad himself implemented reason of state or expediency, maslaha, when he suspended jihad, because it was in the interest of the community to suspend jihad for some time, and he was not secularized. And in modern times, in Sunni Islam, the needs of modern state have encouraged the development of a branch of jurisprudence which is called the jurisprudence of plurality, fiqh al-alawiyah, which is an adaptation but not secularization. So why is the...
Thank you, Dr. Altman. Another question? Yes, please, sir. Yes, please. Professor Onashenko? Yes, please.
My question is to Professor Matsunaga, too.
Please, go ahead, please.
Do you admit the situation of desecularization? Because we know from the history, from recent history, that under Shah in Iran, the secularization reached the top level, but then it went back. So what do you think about it?
Thank you. Yes, please, lady.
Because the Maslahat says we should do this. So it seems that whatever happens, the Expediency Council has the overriding veto power to veto. How does that play into the secularization process that you said? So, and also my other question is that Aviv could become irrelevant in the politics, but never in the religion. Right? So religious people will always have marriage happy. But were you trying to say that it would be something like Iraq, where it would have this Sistani model, where marriage happy would be completely separate from the politics, because we can't get rid of it?
Thank you. Thanks. The very last one? Yes, please.
My question is also for Professor Matsunaga.
Well, you are very, very popular today.
Which basically, of course, there are different notions of what constitutes secularization. So I think everyone, a few of the questions are mainly asking for a clarification of how what exactly he's referring to when he's talking about secularization. Is it seems like he's discussing differentiation. So I was wondering if this is the only type of secularization he's referring to, or maybe there are other elements or components of different notions of secularization. And finally, how is this thesis received in from political circles?
Very good. I said all the 4 questions are for you. And no time limit. Coffee can wait.
Thank you very much. Okay. The first question, the relationship between the expediency, the concept of maslahat and secularization. I think you're quite right that the concept itself doesn't direct any directions. It's not, it's not logical consequences of the concept of maslahat. It has to go toward the direction of secularization. But his argument, Hajarian's argument, as well as my argument, was that in the context of the Islamic State of Iran after the revolution, the concept of maslaha can be used to override the limitation posed by the Sharia. And that, this 1988 decree by Khomeini was issued exactly in that context. Some people, conservatives, traditionalists, which were headquartered in the Guardian Council, was against the kind of more modern or progressive reforms, leftist, socialist, or that kind of like the adoption of the labor law in the Majlis. they were opposed on the Sharia grounds. And the state, Khomeini said, gentlemen, this is the time of the Islamic State. In Zamane Hukumat Islamist. So that what he meant by this, this is different from the pre-1979. We have the Islamic State, so we have to keep this, but at the same time, this is the modern time, and so we have to adapt, make the state modernized, secularized. So for that purpose, he introduced the concept of maslaha. The second question, desecularization, yes. For the short term, Hajarian makes it very clear that after the revolution, everything was made religious. You have to be religious to be out there. But his argument is, for the short term, the profanization will be increased, but over the long run, this is a temporary phase, and it goes to the secularization. And I couldn't go into the detail, but in my paper and as well as in his writing, there's a logic and a mechanism by which that the profanization phase is only temporary. And the third question, Marjat agreed. Well, the argument is that the area that Marjat agreed, the Grand Ayatollah's interpretations are relevant will become narrow and narrow because the state says, encroaches the area of relevance by saying, for example, the area of the judiciary, and the Marjat agreed issues fatwas because people ask him the issue and the opinions. And traditionally, the fatwas of the mujtahid are independent, so they can contradict themselves. But now state says, our judgment overrides whatever fatwas you issue. So, yes, on the purely religious issues that state has no say in it, they can still issue fatwas, very small matters. But important matters that relates to the citizens' rights or the judiciary processes, state says don't issue any fatwas, or if you issue any fatwas contradicting our state judgment, our views takes precedence. So more and more these citizenship areas, democratic areas, and rights of the gender equality and the religious equality and that kind of stuff, state can step in and make the modern, progressive, secular legislation. That's his argument. And one thing I could have added to my paper is that the case of the religious minorities, Dia case, was the only example Khamenei actually did in this direction. He has used the instrument of Hukma Hukumati to block the democratic efforts in many, numerous cases. So that was the only one I could find during his 21-year reign. So it's very small, but his argument, Ajarian's argument, is this instrument could be used to expand the reforms and changes for the secular direction. And last question, the meaning of secularization. He uses two technical meanings of the secularization, which is the profanization and the institutional separation. So the separation between the government and the institution of religion. And in the Iranian case, since the state claims to be religious and suppresses and destroys the traditional institution of religion, by states claiming we are religious, and the state becomes secular, it makes religion secular. That's the only meaning that they are saying. Yes, of course, in sociology, there are other meaning of secularization, which is making against religion, the atheism kind of secularization. But Hajarian, since he's very religious, so he's against that kind of secularization. He doesn't want to talk about that, but he's talking about the two senses of the term.
Well, you will agree with me, thank you, you will agree with me that we had an excellent session Thank you, Professor Matanaga, Dr. Pardo, and Dr. Litvak. At 4:30, we'll meet Mr. Obama, Mr. Ahmadinejad, and Mr. Netanyahu, a session that will be devoted to the three of them in an election year. Till then, I suspect there is coffee outside. So 4:30 sharp. Thank you very much. Goodbye.